I guess we have to say. Okay, here we go. We're here. We're live. All right. Okay, welcome to Anne and Claudine's live. That we're just here just to talk about things for entertainment purposes, you guys. This is all for entertainment purposes. I have to go over this stuff, but we do take our information very seriously, and it is for those who have ears to hear it. So I guess those are some new things that we need to say before we get started. And Anne and I like to talk about a lot of different types of medical things and wellness and health and stuff like that. And I just got to disclose that we are not doctors. We are not nurses, nor do I know much about the Western medicine field. And either does Anne, because Anne isn't even from America. So we just talk about our own anecdotal evidence that we have seen through ourselves and what we've gone through and what we have seen with other people that we work with. So I just wanted to disclose that in the beginning. And I am Claudine with Elevated by Claudine, and I am a dosing specialist for plant medicine. I do plant medicine. I do fungus too. And I work with cannabis quite often and mushrooms and all kinds of other herbs. And I help people get off of pharmaceuticals and street drugs and alcohol onto plant-based medicine. Again, like I said just a few seconds ago, I am a dosing specialist. I do create my own formulas and I dose people. And that's what I do. If you guys are interested, you guys can go to my website, elevatedbyclaudine.com, and you can see the services and the products that I offer and the service. And there's services that Anne also provide on there too. Let me see if I can get, I'm sorry, you guys. What is going on here? And there's a QR code that you guys can go ahead and click on. It'll take you straight to my website. And I also have a healing facility in Glendale, Arizona. It is located on 4th Avenue and Union Hills. So if you guys want more information, just go ahead and get that QR code and you can get more information. So I'll go ahead and let Anne introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Anne. I work with Claudine all the way over here in Australia, and I'm also a waitress at a restaurant. And I am really good at reading energy, seeing auras, seeing shadows, seeing thoughts sometimes, seeing things that are above your head that maybe you can't quite grasp just yet. But yeah, I like to, I like to constantly be understanding and learning those parts about me. I find it fascinating. I find the human mind so fascinating. How like you have these other senses that like live inside you that we're like taught to shut down so much in our life. But like when we tune into them a bit more, we can actually like learn how to, I wouldn't say have control over them, but yeah, have control over them to some degree, and learn to like use them in your life to better your life or to like tell you things or teach you things. And yeah, I love. I guess we would call it the spiritual side, but it's different. It's everyone likes to use a different name. Spiritual. I like to use energy. I find that word to be just very it like covers all of it, because if you're working with energy, there's all different kinds of energy. There's us as a human energy, there's animal energy, there's plant energy. We have all these different vibrations. When we sleep, it's a different vibration. And so yeah, energy, vibration. So I like to use those words for this kind of stuff, working
Yeah,
with energy, working with vibration. And
we, yes, we're very much into energy because energy is everything. And Anne is really good at reading energies and being able to help you with issues that's going on in your life, good or bad. She's very tapped into her psyche. She's got a strong psyche. In fact, she was born with a strong psyche. That was a gift that she was born with, and she's learned how to use it. very well, very, very well. I trust her a lot. Ann and I have been working together now, you guys, for almost 6 years. And this is the kind of stuff her and I like to do. We just like to sit and just video chat and just talk about everything and anything that's going on this planet, outside of this planet. We love talking about spirit. We love talking about energy. We talk about energy more than anything, and how that all works, and about spiritual things, I guess, things that line up with spirituality. And we also get very conflicted with new age spirituality and modern day spirituality. We don't necessarily agree with it. We actually have a hard time calling ourselves spiritual because we don't agree with a lot of stuff that's going on out there that new age spirituality is promoting, or modern day spirituality. There's so many titles for it, but those are the ones that, to me, that seem to be the most common names that you hear. You think so too,
New
Anne?
age, new age spirituality, isn't it? The,
Is
that's what
that
they
what you guys call? I call
think
it
so.
modern spirituality.
I see
It's
a
like,
lot of people have put the new age term before their stuff, or yeah. I even hear like Tim says it. Oh, the new age spirituality. It's like, what's the new
seems like
age?
an Australian word. Yeah.
Maybe, could be. Yeah, modern
See,
day age.
new, new age spirituality would be like the hippies in the 60s. To me, that's when you say new age. I think of like people like Madeira.
Okay.
And
No,
then and then like people that we were talking about yesterday, to me, that's modern day spirituality that practice modern day. You know what I mean?
mhm.
The newer, let's just say the last decade or so is more modern, and anything prior to that would be new age, I feel. But
Okay. So now it's just modern day spirituality.
yeah. But it is combined, I believe, with the new age stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
both, yeah.
I don't know. I don't follow. I don't follow much of it. I just I've always like wanted to understand that there what is more in life, but I wanted it to be real. I don't like I don't like I don't like getting all excited for something and oh it's so much, and then getting to that point and going like what, like there's nothing there, and like I have nothing to grasp onto. I don't like that. For me, like the kind of person I am, I kind of need something to be able to like grasp onto and see that okay, this I'm going to go down this road because there's an end path to it. And for me, spirituality, I know we're always learning and ascending, your favorite word, in our in our souls and in ourselves and in our ego and all that kind of stuff. But I like a realness to it. I don't like all that made up crap. I don't. It annoys me like nothing else. Like if I go see someone and they're just talking a bunch of rubbish, but it's in a spiritual context, but I can feel that it's like, well, what is this? Like a lot of that love and light stuff, at times it's like, hmm, like the love and light. I want love and light, but I want real love and light. I don't want it to be all this great love and light from me, but then I go out into the real world and it's like my love and light gets crushed real quickly because it's non-existent from others, and just that kind of stuff. Whereas if I learn how to have it within myself on a truer degree, it's more I'm creating it for myself. But I don't know, I like to have a realness to spirituality.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
to
like the
me
dream.
spirit. Yeah, to me, spirituality is about just being present, being in the present moment, and watching your energy and your thoughts and everything that you're doing. And that's the one thing we're going to talk about tonight, you guys. The one thing we've decided to talk about is telepathy. So yeah, it's there's a lot of misinformation out there. and like I said, and I just don't agree with a lot of stuff. Like I don't agree with this ascending to 5D. You know, they talk about this mass ascension that's going to happen. I mean, this mass ascension was
Maybe
supposed
the,
to happen quite a while ago, if
no.
you ask me.
Ascension, ascension is also death. So, like,
Hmm.
maybe we're just all gonna have a big mass death. Like,
Right?
ascending is so many like it's so many things. Like
Hmm.
to ascend in spirit, to ascend in the body, like I don't know, a mass ascension. Is that just like a mass awakening? Because when your spirit ascends, your spirit understands more things, and the soul awakens. Like maybe the mass ascension is like just a mass awakening. I think there's a lot of awakening happening at the moment. The Pope dying, like there's all these prophecies about the last pope, so people are starting to go whoa, and then there's all Trump, and people are trying to figure out who's the Antichrist, and that would cause an
That's a
ascent
big one going on right
spirit.
now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, every other person like standing up in some degree. It's like that's the Antichrist. No, 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 that's the Antichrist. Ah, it's
Well, we're
whoever
at
can
the end of
hold the
times. It's just
spirit.
because we're at the end of times and we've got so much crazy stuff going on right now.
Mm.
Um, and people are, I mean, you can't deny it. We are at the end of times. And
We
when a
oh
lot,
yes,
yeah,
we are. We are.
yeah,
We are.
yeah, and they say that the spirituality, what they say, this new age, is that we're all going to ascend at the same time, and that's when we all get our memory back. We all get
Uh,
our memory back at the same. That's what I was told by a spiritual person. Well, it's when we all get our memory back at the same time, and we will all send together to the 5D. I just don't agree with that's the way it's going to look. Be. I do believe that we are raising the vibration of this planet. I do believe this planet is going to go into a higher level of awareness as we the humans start to do better and know better. Well, we know better and we do better, and we start to live more natural,
mm,
and we help mother, because number one is Mother Gaia needs our help. She needs our help. She needs us to clean our act, and the more we help her and the more we clean this planet, the higher the energies are going to rise. But this, all this 4D, 5D, 6D, I just, it's hard for me to just buy into that. I used to buy into it because it was a fairy tale that just sounded good. We're always trying to find the savior, and I'm not an exception to that. There was of course, we all want to have someone come and save us, or something save us, or a prophecy, or a buy-in, but it's not going to work that way. We've got to save ourselves, and I'm just not buying all of this quantum stuff and this 5D stuff, and I'm not there anymore. I'm out of it.
I never really got into it or I didn't understand it because I don't understand it. If I don't understand something, I'm just not gonna put a lot of time and effort into trying to. Like if it doesn't, if spirit, if what the person, if that spiritual thing that I'm hearing that I can't see, and there's no like absolute to be able to see what they're talking about. If it's something I have to pick up on, if I don't understand it and I don't see it in my, I just turn it off. It's hello Nova.
Hi, Nova. Welcome in. We're so glad that you commented. Yeah, go ahead, do your thing, girl. We're just gonna sit here and talk a little
Mhm.
bit about
About
whatever we're
ascension.
talking about, like we do. Excuse me.
We're talking
I'm
about
just
ascension.
yeah. But our main topic tonight is gonna be telepathy. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, we can start talking about it now. Telepathy, is it chance? Is it an old esoteric idea that is exploited? Is it exaggerated by the new age spirituality? Um, because it is easily dismissed.
Mm,
So, for me, I do believe that telepathy was our first language.
me too.
I do believe that. I really do. Now,
And
there
how the
are files in the CIA, in the American CIA files. There are files, and I did read this file. I read this file. I got my hands on it. I have it somewhere. and it's all about telepathy. She says,
Hmm.
I like that. I know, isn't that a good one? Nova, I same thing when I text Anne, I felt your vibration back like, oh, that's a good one.
Telepathy.
Yeah, when I sent it to you, I said, hey, let's talk about telepathy because I had the download this morning. And I'm like, well, that is something new. We haven't talked about telepathy, and we don't talk about it very much. We really don't.
Hmm.
And I think it's a very important subject. It's a good subject. We all can chime in. Everyone that's watching, as you guys chime in, give us your perspective on what telepathy is for you, because I know all of us have experienced it to a certain degree.
Hmm. Mm.
And
I'm
only
very
a,
empathic.
and you know, there's only a small amount of people on this planet that actually accept that it exists.
Hmm. Well, it does exist. It definitely exists. I'm telepathic. I can I can like I can communicate with like whatever things from people's past, whether it's their relatives. Like I'm not going to say that, but I can see things, and the way I communicate and I'm able to get this stuff is through telepathy. Like I'll get images, I'll get colors and lights, and I can see it in my brain. Like it's the most magical, strangest thing that I've ever experienced. But like, because I'm wide awake when it's happening. And
Hmm.
like, say, like a couple weeks ago, I had my cousin down, and her boyfriend that she had, he got killed like a year or so ago, 2 years ago. And I was talking to her, and as I'm talking to her, I start seeing this whole imagery coming up inside my brain, and I start telling her, and she's going, "Yep, like this," and he was showing me, or something was showing me this stuff from him, and I'm telling you, I it was like a movie was turning on in my brain, and I was like, I wanted to see because I'm like, I know that movie, and I'm like saying the images, but she couldn't fully say exactly, and but I could see the stuff, and it was like a movie opening up in my brain, and I could see different things, and I was being shown, but I'm wide awake, so that's telepathy.
See, no, to me, those are visions. You know how, like, when I talk
Second,
to you and I tell you, I go, God, I had this, like,
oh, but there's
remember
different things.
what we were talking about last night when you and I were talking last night, and I know I just randomly pushed this out there on you because we were talking a little bit about the bloodlines. And when I said, hey, what do you think about this? And I told you about the Clintons,
Mm-hmm.
which became a very good topic for us. We talked about it for a good minute. You know what I'm saying? And that came from telepathy. That came from the field. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
oh,
pulled on that. I got that information from somewhere else, which wasn't my thought, but it was somebody else's thought or somewhere else, you know, and I was
yeah.
like, whoa, 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 that's a thought.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I messaged it to you and you were just
Yes.
like, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'm like, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. That is what gave me the idea to talk about telepathy today, was what happened last
Oh,
night. Yeah.
yep.
And then when I woke up this morning, I just, like I said, I got the download. You know how I get these visions, and then on top of that, I get this information of knowing that it's just these really cool thoughts that just come down of this knowing that I have, and then I write it all down because
Mhm.
I won't remember it all. I've got
Well,
too much going on in my life to remember everything. I
no,
pray and yeah,
you have
I'm
to write.
working on a photographic memory though.
Yeah, you have to write. No, but you have to write. You want to remember some stuff when you're getting downloads, and if you're wanting to remember, because you get the someone who's very in tune with spirit's going to keep getting them, all the time. So if they're real important, it's best to like write them down. I do that. If it's something, it's
Mhm.
like even like going shopping, I go write down. If it's really important, just got to write that thing down because there's
I
too
know.
much to remember. Like there's a
It's so
lot.
much. It's a lot. It is a lot. Um,
The spirit world
but
is always talking. They always have things to show you when you want to see it.
yeah, and that's kind of like what I want to dive deep into about, telepathy is a lot more than just being able to read each other's thoughts.
Mhm.
I feel, a lot of people get small amounts. they get glimpses. That's the word I'm looking for. Everyone I feel has had a glimpse of this themselves, of telepathy. Now, I'm just going to give you guys a few of my examples that I wrote down that happened to me. This happens to me on daily basis here with the type of work that I do. Um, okay, now a lot of people they want to, they say telepathy, it can easily be dismissed, or it could be by chance or coincidence. I don't believe in any of that, you guys. Okay. Um, but I've experienced. Oh, here's a good one that people that happens. When the phone is ringing, who's on the other line without even seeing it. Has that ever
Mhm,
happened to you, Ann? You're like, oh,
mhm,
or you're
mhm.
thinking about them and then they call you,
Yes, that
or they
happens to
come
me and my
over.
cousin all the time. We're super telepathic like that. Like
Hmm.
super telepathic.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's one thing that happens. I know it's happened to almost every single human on this planet
Yeah.
in that way. In that way, if they didn't call you, they showed up. That happens to me all the time. Um, I will wake up and I like to start manifesting when I wake up, and I start manifesting certain clients that I want to come in and to purchase certain things. And sure enough, those
Yeah.
clients will show up that day or the next day
Yeah.
and come in for the reasons that I thought that they were coming in. That happens to me quite often, more so every day, more and more for me, because now I just make this a manifesting ritual every morning so that I can be busy, so I can have, business. Another thing is two people thinking the same thing and you
Mhm.
say it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Or sometimes, or even sometimes when you like ask someone a question and you hear the answer and then they say the answer, you telepathically just picked up on what they were saying. That's why you knew what they were going to say because you heard it, you telepathically heard it, and then they've spoken it. So
Thoughts are
that's.
vibrations. Thoughts
Mhm,
are vibrations.
mhm,
Okay. And when you have thoughts, and just imagine how many thoughts most humans have. Okay. A lot of people don't have the type of control that we have with thoughts because we understand what our thoughts are, on a different level than the most human. But a man, just think about how many thoughts. Whenever I have a client in front of me, I always ask them, how many thoughts do you think you have a day? And they're like, oh, geez, a million. Those thoughts are frequencies, are energy. They go out into the field, the
mhm,
energy field that
mhm,
we all pick up on, that we all pull on. We're all part of it. We are not separate from source.
mhm.
Um, okay, knowing you
Apparently,
will, huh?
apparently, only the higher realms can see your thoughts, but the demons can't see your thoughts. The demons can only hear your words. The angels can see and hear your thoughts, and God, they can see and hear your thoughts. But
They know
the
your heart.
yeah, but the lower vibrations, they can't see your thoughts or read your thoughts. They can only hear your words. That's why when
Mhm.
you speak, once you speak, it is you can manifest and create these things, and things can happen to you because you're speaking them. So everything can hear you. But that's why if you want like if you have like a bad energy or something around you and you want it to go away, you want to say it out loud. You want to speak it and tell it to go away out loud. Don't just say it in
Yes.
your mind. Say, I want you to go away. You say it. You tell it. You say, piss off. So, because you have to speak to the lower vibrations. But also be careful what you're speaking because then they can hear you too. So,
Yes. Okay.
but work
Oh,
the
here we go. We
thoughts should
got
be
we got
healed.
Nova had an experience last night. I had a pretty intense, loud dream last night. Oh,
Lucid
lucid
dream.
dream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Lucid dream last night about anger, and there was a lot to it. But I woke up sobbing.
I know.
Oh,
You're
Nova.
you're purging. You have you have a lot of something inside you that needs to come out of your body, and sobbing is like a way of your body purging something,
It's
like physically
energy.
sobbing. So it's energy coming out of your body, and the only way I would say the you like you when you're awake are not being able to sit down and do this in an awake state, but it's so overloaded in your body right now, the trauma, that it's having to do it in your sleep. Your spirit is just natural is doing it itself because it's like it can't take too much more. So you are purging in your sleep because you need to be purging. So that is definitely what you're doing, is purging, especially if you wake
Yeah,
up.
you're going through a lot right now. So you're purging and you're having a lot of deaths of different types of energies that have been inside of you because you're detoxing. You're on the biggest detox of your life, Nova. So yeah, and it's anger. That's good. This is a good
It's
thing. This
good.
is something to
It's so
celebrate.
good.
It's not a bad thing, Nova. I know that you waking up sobbing and being so confused, I bet at the time was not fun and it was probably uncomfortable. But just know that you are going to be okay and that you need to release these tears because
Mhm.
these tears that are coming out of you are not your regular tears. You're
Mhm.
literally releasing that energy through those tears.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the
Very
same
beautiful.
energy. Yeah, like when you stub a toe. This is how I like to explain it. You know, like when you're, I don't know if anyone out there's ever stubbed their toe before. I've done it many times or smacked my finger in a drawer or something
Hmm.
and you get teary up. Not the
Hmm.
same tears. It's
No,
not the same
it's
thing.
not even it's not even the same tears that you have when like you get sad because your friend hurt you or something. It's not the same tears. These are very different tears. When these tears,
Hmm.
they come from a very deep, deep, deep place, deep inside you, like right from the middle of your body, deep inside. That as a human, sometimes, you know, sometimes we'd have to go under hypnotherapy to go that deep into stuff, but that's like where our traumas and all that kind of stuff sits. So, you know, there are wounded parts of ourselves. So it's a very deep cry. If you wake up like that, that's a really deep cry. That even as a human sitting there doing it yourself, you might not be able to go that deep inside yourself. So I reckon that's a really positive thing. That's a really good release for a person. I was attacking the people I love. It's the opposite of who I am. Yeah. This is your spirit.
It's
There's
your
some.
it's all of those pharmaceuticals inside of you. Those are the demons that you're carrying inside of you. The
Mhm.
negative energy, not demons, but negative energy, and they're fighting back, Nova.
Mhm.
That is your pharmaceuticals that are embedded deep down in your bones, the Suboxone is fighting back. It is trying to make you think that you are going that you're that's this is who you are. It's playing with your mind.
Mhm. Mhm. That's what they do, but
That's what they do. It's part of the detox, hon.
it's
um
okay. It's okay as long as she felt that that release, like through the anger, like she
mhm.
actually physically felt it. It's coming. It's like coming out of her. So it's
Oh,
a good.
definitely. When she woke up sobbing, you win, Nova. You win. You got that energy out. You face those parasites that are inside of you. And this is the beginning of the parasites showing up. And this is the stuff that they do. It happened to me. I don't you remember when I was talking about it a few weeks ago when I gave birth to that big long one, the real long parasite that came out of me. And I don't dream. Anne will tell you that. I do not dream.
That's
And I had a
I,
dream that I was yelling at some loved ones of mine, and in my dream, I'm telling them, you grow up to be nothing. You do nothing on this planet. You are a complete waste.
oh
Remember,
my god!
remember the
I'm
dream I
never
told you
mean
I
to
had?
people in my dreams.
Huh?
I've never been mean to people in my dreams.
Well, I'm ripping these particular two people that that are in my family, and I am like ripping on them and letting them know that they come to this planet with me and they do nothing.
And that was in your dream. That's so funny. That is actually a really funny dream. I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, but I felt so bad when I woke up. I'm like, why am I yelling at these?
Because
What does
it,
it
it's
matter?
because you needed to have a release because
And
it's
then next
inside
thing you
you.
know, yep, and next thing you know, Nova, I sent you a picture of that parasite that I gave birth to the very next day. And that was the same time when I had the dreams about the mantis. So, yeah, yeah. So
I like that.
it just
That's really funny.
it is funny. It's funny. Now it's funny. At the time, it wasn't. It's very real. It's, you wake up with this horrible feeling, and you're
Yeah.
crying and why am I acting like that? Why am I dreaming that? But then, of course, once I gave birth to that parasite, I was like, oh, I get it. It was something that I had to, yeah. But
It's okay.
anyways,
I was telling my boyfriend last night this dream that I've told a few people. It's actually kind of I told him and he found it real funny. I had a dream a little while ago, and in my dream, my angels were like, okay, we're gonna show you the devil's face. Like we're gonna show you what the devil actually looks like." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah," like because I've heard like a voice that was supposed to be the devil, and I felt like a fear in my dream, like I knew that was like that's the voice of the devil. That makes you shiver with fear. Like when you hear that voice. So I'm like, they're gonna show me the face now, and I was so excited. And they're like, "Hey, sit down here," and they had me turned around, and then they're like, "Close your eyes." And as I turn, they turned my chair around, and I still have my eyes closed, and they're like, "Okay, open your eyes now. You're gonna see the face of the devil." And as I opened my eyes in my dream, I've seen a mirror and I've seen my freaking face looking back at me. And I woke up from that dream, but the fear, because I was told it was the devil, with a fear I had because I'm going to see the face of the devil. But then I've seen my own face, and it's like I was so scared of myself, like, fuck, I'm the devil. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, but it means we're all versions of the devil. Like, it doesn't mean I'm the devil. But I know what you mean. You wake up with that fear.
uh-oh, we just lost Anne. She just went, bye-bye. There she is. Here she comes back.
Okay. But yeah, I know
Was
what
that
you
you
mean.
or was that the connection?
That was me. That was me.
Okay, 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 okay.
So, but yeah, I know what you mean. You don't like seeing those horrible sides of yourself. Like I didn't like seeing that I was the devil. I'm like, what? I'm not the
No,
devil.
it's not. No, we are so far from being anywhere to that bloodline. We're not even in
It was
we're
so
not even
mean.
in the same race as that. But that's just, it is the way that it is, and it's, how we get messed with. We're just the humans here, you guys. We're
We can
we're
all
the
carry the
humans.
devil.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I took from that dream. That was the message I took. Okay, we can all carry the devil. We can all be angels. We can all be God. We can all be the devil too. Like
It's a duality. It's the
I see what I'm
duality
saying.
inside of us. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
for
we
sure.
are a planet of duality. And that's another thing too that, I totally believe that we are a planet of duality and we're learning to become a planet of unity. That
Mhm.
to me is the rise and vibration of where we're going on this planet. That's what I should have said about what I believe what the 5D is to me if someone asked me, because I don't believe in any of that stuff. But anyways, back to telepathy. Another thing with telepathy, you guys, that people have experienced is knowing you will see or hear from a person you have been thinking about. That's what
Mhm.
I do every morning when I'm manifesting my clients. I just start thinking about certain clients and then they show up. So I know people have done that. I know that's how that's happened. And then a lot of times people will just dismiss this because the two people know each other so well. Like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, a husband and a wife, twins. What about twins? Twins are a great
Twins
example of
are very
telepathy.
telepathic.
They can be separated. One can be on the other side of the moon and the other side of the sun, and they know exactly if one of them are hurt or if something good has happened in their life or if one of them's giving birth.
Mhm.
I've seen that. I've heard of that. Um, I I think that is so cool. I mean, I am fascinated by twins, you guys. I'm actually a godmother to two twins. that were born on 11/11 on 2022, in the year of 2022, and these two
Oh
little,
my God.
and their mom
11,
was
11,
born,
22.
and their mom was born on 11/11. She gave birth to two twins, identical twins, on 11/11, but they were born in 2022.
Oh my
And
goodness.
my godchildren, they're Nico
It,
and Leo. Yeah, and they're
those
2
are
years
connecting
old.
numbers. In
Mhm.
spirituality, 11, 11, like people with who are born on 11, 11, they tend to be very strong in their energy. They can like they 11, 11 is a path thing, so they are very good at helping people along their spiritual path. Like it's a spiritual thing. Like a lot of celebrities use 11, 11. You know, if they see it a lot, oh well, I'm on the right path. That's the whole idea of seeing the number 11, 11. So people born on that date tend to be very strong in energy, just in like how they can put you on a path and keep you on the path and help you find your path. But it's also connecting numbers because 22 is a connecting number, but 11, 11 is half of 22. I guess that's what makes it so powerful. But then if you have 22, which join up the 11, 11, like that's big. If you had that as your birthday, like you're just
And
your path is a
you're an
spiritual
identical
path.
twin. And
Yeah,
you're an identical twin. And it's your mother's birthday that day too.
yeah,
I am
it's a
very
very
blessed to be
powerful
part of, yeah, I'm very blessed to be part of their journey. I'll tell you that. I really enjoy them. I talk about them all the time. Um, they're just a lot of fun. They're 2 years old, and I get to watch these. I know I get to watch these two grow up, and I'm their godmother, so I get to help and guide them in spirituality. That is my job, and I'm having a good time. I'm having a really good time with those little guys.
They'll be,
Um,
I would imagine they're going to be very telepathic with each other, like super telepathic.
I was there when they came out. When they came out, I was right outside the door because she had a C-section,
Hmm. I
and they
reckon
wouldn't
they'll
let
have
me in.
their own language and everything.
They do. When they came out, they were singing to each other. I'm not kidding. I have it on video. They are talking to each other. They are singing to each other. And to this day, when I go visit them, they're about 2.5 now. No, they're not 2.5. They're 11. Let me see, December, January, February, March, April. Well, yeah, and next month they will be 2.5. But anyways, I just went to go visit them a couple weeks ago, and they still sing to each other, but now they do hand things.
That's amazing. Like aliens.
And they face each other, and then they get done doing that, and then they'll like throw their hands around like they're blessing things.
Oh
It's
my
it's a
God.
trip. It's such a
Amazing.
trip. I know.
It would be. I'd love to see them when they're like 7, 8. I swear to God, they're going to be, there'll be times where no one can understand them. Just the two of them will have their own telepathic language and
For
connection
sure.
that
For
only them
sure.
two. And the mom will probably have an idea, but no, it will be created just for the two of them. For sure.
I
That's going to
know.
be so cool to watch.
It's going to be so cool. It's
That
going to be
stuff
really
is
awesome.
fascinating to watch.
It is.
Sure.
So you can't deny telepathy when it comes to twins. I mean, you just really can't. But
No.
the controllers of our Earth, you guys, they have managed to hide telepathy from us. Okay. Like I said, it is in the CIA files, and in the CIA files, these files are real, and they talk about telepathy and how they've taken it from us. Um, they've been hiding it from the general public, you guys, for eons. Like, um, Earth science dismisses it, and I am not about Earth science at all. They dismiss it.
Earth signs? Why do earth signs dismiss it? What's it to do with earth
Just
signs?
scientist of the earth, just all
Oh,
science. I'm just science, just
science.
putting it all in one. Earth science scientists, they dismiss it as coincidence. That's what they say.
Telepathy is real. Come on. We all that's we don't need to like have a debate on whether telepathy works is real or not. I think
No,
it
but if you talk to scientists, they're going to tell you wishful thinking.
really no way. You can full tap into other people's thoughts and energy and pick stuff up and like I can do it just in a reading. Like I can sit there and tap into someone's energy and start seeing things that are to do with them. That's some form. Like you say it's visions, but that's still some form of telepathy, because telepathy is like, is energetically tapping into someone else's energy and picking up on what they're what's going through their mind, or what they're feeling. And I think that's something that a lot of us do and have done, like, for as long as we can remember. And when you understand it, and you can learn how to, like, can I wouldn't say control it better, but use it more to your advantage, when you learn how to, like, I've learned how to go into people's energies better. Like, before it was just all over the place and I didn't really understand what was happening, whereas now I understand it, so I can control how I'm doing it better. And yeah, I don't know if control is the right word, but to me, that's telepathy. I think aliens, they don't use words, they use telepathy. Like, that's how they communicate. And when they communicate with us, it's through telepathy. Like, sometimes yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, sometimes you just, like, when you're connecting to spirit and stuff, like, you'll get these really profound thoughts that are not your thoughts. Like, to me, that's, they're telepathically, um, giving, like, telling you things and stuff. And yeah, the angels
Yeah.
telepathically. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And they, and the religion doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Religion, they,
The
they're religion is so dogmatic now, that's what it is to me. It's
re-
it's all about gaslighting the general public.
religion is all about controlling that part. Like, religion really has controlled the spiritual aspect of people's lives, because there's so many rules to how you use spirit. Like, there are universal laws and rules to using spirituality, whereas the Bible just kind of got all of it and just put it in one big fistful and said, don't do it. Pretty much, like, don't go playing the spirit world. Just pray and trust in Jesus. All that kind of, it's pretty much what it tells you in the Bible. It says to pray, to connect only to God. I agree, is the safest, for the average person. Just stick to the belief of whatever God is meant to be, and stay holy as much as you can. And don't play with that spiritual side unless you understand what you're playing with. But that's kind of what religion did, is it just told us to stay out of it. Like, believe in God. Do not play with other idols. Do not play with other spirits. Trust, only pray to God.
You're not worthy. Religion, you're not worthy. You got to work for that worthy of God's love. Um, but between the controllers and religion, they don't want us to be tuned into it, at all.
Mhm.
They really don't. They don't talk about it.
Oh,
They've hid it from us. Yeah,
yeah, they
it's
don't
not.
want us delving into it.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, they're all about gaslighting. That's what religion to me at this point is. What is what's happening. Like I said, it's very dogmatic science when it comes to religion at this point. So they don't talk about it. It's taboo. It's woo woo stuff.
That's it.
And another thing, I do believe that the reason why we were taught language to speak from our vocal cords, we do have vocal cords,
Hmm.
and maybe this just came, maybe other races of other aliens, the reason why they don't speak is because they don't have vocal cords like us.
Maybe, maybe they have a very different makeup.
So they had all they got is telepathy, but God, who knows? They could be, maybe they breathe out of their freaking butt. Who knows?
But I mean, we don't know how these
Their
things.
anatomy is way different than ours. So, anyways, okay.
Maybe they don't have vocal cords. So true. Could be
Well,
as
it
simple as
could be a
that.
possibility. I don't know. I've never been like Katy Perry and traveled off world or Elon Musk. He takes off too. Yeah, I just haven't been, that privileged yet. Um, But we're not separate from source. And that's another thing that they teach us. They teach us that we are separate from source, that we are separate from God. And we are not.
Well, we're not, because God is mother and we are mother's creation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I will-
exactly. And we have the same capacity as source itself because we are God. We are source, right?
we are
That I
created.
do believe that. I believe that there is no difference between me and the love of my creator, just like there is nothing between me and my children. They
Mhm.
are mine, they are part of me. We are not separate. So how am I separate from my creator? I'm not. And that's what they really impose on us so much. And that's why I call them a dogmatic science religion at this point. Um,
But you know the strongest spirituality that you're gonna find, like the real stuff that really, really works, like go to Africa where, the black magic and stuff. They all use mother when they do all their spells and stuff, they use stuff from Mother Earth. They use dirt, they use roots, they use an egg, they use objects from Mother Earth when they do their rituals. They have to cut the goat's throat and have blood come out and sacrifice that physical thing from Mother. Like, and their magic is very, very strong and very, very real. Even in Thailand, like, when they worship the spirits, they're still giving it fruit and giving it food, and they're all things from Mother that we are feeding to the spirits. So, but we're using objects of Mother to do, well, they are to do these rituals, and the magic that comes with it is very, very strong. But they're not just sitting there talking gibberish into and hoping the magic works. They're using, Mother objects. So Mother is a very, I think Mother is the
well, they
strongest
have a concept
energy.
of how to connect.
Yes, they know how to use the right things from Mother
Hmm.
Earth. That's why I
Hmm.
say Mother Earth is very strong. Her
Hmm.
spiritual energy is a very strong energy to use. And when you can incorporate that into your magic stuff, like, if you want strong magic, stick with Mother Earth. Go hug a tree, and go for a swim or something. Like, that's where you're going to connect to good spirit. Not not upstairs on your phone, watching AI stuff. That's not true spirit. The Mother Earth
Hmm.
is true spirit. So, that's for me. For me, when we talk about my creator, for me, my creator is Mother Earth. So when you say that we're not um we're not separate from source and from God, I'm not, because Mother Earth is my God. That's who I put everything back into, whether it's an animal or a plant, or just trying to be a good person, for other people, because that's respecting Mother, respecting myself. It's Mother Earth. So, we're her creation, and she's God. Mother is God. So I'm definitely not cut from my source.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. And I know for a fact that I am made of more microbiome organisms. I am flooded like a pool with water of microbiome organisms than I am human cells.
Mhm.
That right there tells you come from something much bigger and much greater than what you've been told. So that
Mhm.
human comes from that. Now they say we come from dust, which is Mother Gaia. I believe the dust that we come from is the golden dust, which is the master creator of source and God. The gold dust is how we were created between mother and the creator, and
Mhm.
it's not separate from us. I
Mhm.
will not ever believe that because I've given birth 5 times on this planet,
Mhm.
and my children are not separate from me. Their
Mhm.
My blood runs through their veins, and I know that for a fact, and my DNA and my baby daddies.
The
um
spirit, I do believe that the spirit that sits in the human, I don't. That's the part of creation and all this human stuff that I don't get involved in, because I think it's much more complex than
mhm,
we can imagine. So I do think that the spirit, that the energy that goes into the human while the human is on this planet, wherever those that spirit and how it goes back, I do believe that was a bigger experiment of some sort. And I'll never understand that. I'll never have the answer to that one. But the human, and obviously it was probably some kind of strange experiment that happened. And but yeah, like you said, we're from Mother Earth, and when we have children, they share our DNA, they share our blood. So that's that earthly part of us, and then the spirit that gets put into it, you know.
It's the same thing. It's the same connection. It's the same concept. I mean, I just, if I, it just feels right. It just makes sense to me. And if it makes sense, then it's for me.
Hmm.
This other stuff that religion puts down on us just doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. The creation story that I've been told here in America about Adam and Eve, nope, I'm not buying it and I won't buy it.
I've
But
never bought that.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
I don't know.
me either. Mm-mm.
That's very ancestral. Like for us all to have come from like two humans. Like there's a
Okay.
yeah.
And then we know that Adam had a first wife, Lilith. Like,
Literally.
okay. Oh, no, really? We had divorce back then too?
Yeah, but if you read the old writings and stuff, there were other humans on this planet also. They just didn't have the souls put into them like Lilith and
Hmm.
Adam were given. And that's why I say it was some kind of experiment, in my opinion, the soul part of it. Because there were other humans, they didn't have this same souls that, these two original humans were given. And then Lilith, according to old writings and stuff, she decided that she was going to go create her own army and went and had sex with the other men that were on this planet, but they weren't, they were just the basic men with no souls and stuff. And then she started like, mixing and creating her own army. And that's why we have all goblins and stuff, because that's what she created out of what she was doing with her womb. And I don't know, it's a whole nother realm that I can't quite comprehend.
That's a whole nother subject right there for,
It
it's a
is.
whole nother show right there.
I think it was much more than just man, woman got created, got these souls, and started having babies, and she had to keep having babies and popping them out. I think it was a lot more complex than that. I think the spirit realm and the human realm were much more integrated at that time, and there was a lot of like stuff that was going on. It wasn't like how we are nowadays. It's just humans, and it was man, woman got married, had babies. I think it's much deeper and complex than that. But yeah,
There's a lot about this planet that we don't know, you know,
yeah,
and it seems like every day you just learn something new, and that's what makes being human and being on this planet worthwhile, you know,
yeah.
because most of the time, it's just a lot of shit.
It is. It's pretty boring too. It's getting pretty boring. It's like I feel like we've hit this part in society and in our reality and in this matrix where we've kind of just been given everything, like from the dark side. We've given us all the cars that they can give. They've given us all the music, all the movies, all the and it's like we've hit this wall, this invisible wall, where it's like everything we see now, it's going to kind of be a loop that we're seeing, because the matrix is run out, and there's just no more spirit or anything they can like source all that entertainment and stuff to give us that's new, like, even like the celebs, the new Brad Pitt, the new Eminem, the new Bieber. Like now they're just, we're stuck on Bieber. Like Bieber's the last one. Like there's just they can't source anymore to give us. Now all we see is like this loop, and everything they keep trying to throw out, it's kind of just smushing against the wall, because it's just going to be another loop and regurgitate. And and people are either going to see it, or they're going to be happy with being on the loop and they're going to be part of the loop. But for other people, they're going to start seeing this stuff, and it's like, wait, like nothing new is happening. What's happened? And so I feel like that's where we are in our matrix at the moment. is we're kind of stuck on a invisible loop because the energy has it's all the river has run dry for that type of for that for that type of source and energy of them giving us new stuff and exciting stuff. It's all gone, and we're stuck watching the same thing over and over. It's so boring. I feel like this matrix has become really boring. Like,
Oh,
give us some.
because they can't create anymore. All they can do is destroy.
No, yeah, it's just it's run. The river is like so dry
Hmm.
that they just got nothing. Yeah, I guess now it's just destroy, isn't it? World War III and
They don't know how to create anymore. They only know how to destroy. They have no light, okay? It's gone. It's done. It's over.
mhm.
They are just on the focused. There's something wrong with their brain. I'm telling you.
There's something wrong with their brain.
They it's stuck and they can't change. They cannot change nothing. They can't create nothing good. All they can do is destroy. And you're not going to see them do it. They're not even, they can't even realize that they've lost this war. Because as far as I'm concerned, with what we're seeing right now in the world today, with what happened today, clearly shows me that God wins. That's, it just validated it, with everything that's going on this planet today. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, yeah, they don't know how to, they just can't, they don't have it in them to be able to create. They don't know how. Their
Yeah.
brain is stuck. Their brain is warped. Their brain, like I told you earlier, it's like when you give someone insulin and for so long, and then their body no longer can make insulin because they've been given synthetic insulin for
Insulin.
so long. The
Mhm.
same thing with them, same concept.
Mhm.
They've been on this destructive behavior for so long
Yeah, but
that they
that's the
don't
whole.
even know.
Yeah, but but that's what the agenda is for them. That's what Antichrist is to be against is anti-creation.
Mhm.
So the whole agenda, like whether they realize it or not, but they're working for an agenda that comes from somewhere much bigger and deeper than who they are. But that whole agenda is to take out creation. So of course they're going to get stuck now because the creation part, what else can they create? It's
They
all gone.
can't. They don't know
No.
how.
and their
Oh, they
and their
only know how to
agenda is to
destroy.
destroy, but that's the agenda, is to destroy
Mhm.
creation, is to destroy us. And that was their agenda. So yeah, that's why they're stuck, because they come to that pointy end. It's what I mean. We've now come to this pointy end, I feel, in the matrix, where it's like there's no more entertainment for what who they're trying to destroy us because we're in creation and we're mother, and they want to destroy this planet. They want the planet to be not of God, whatever God is. So they need to destroy us and the planet. But they've distracted us for so long while they do these things. But now they've come to a point where there's no more they can create to distract us. Like it's dried up. That the darkness is so dry. Like, what more can you do? Kill more children, drink more blood. Like, that's it. It's all finished.
That's all they know. And they're going to keep continuing to do this. And they will do it on a new moon. They will do it on a full moon. They will do it on a smiley moon. They will do it on a solstice. They will do it on an equinox. They will do it on the next lineup. They will do it on
Easter.
anything celestial. They will do it on what are the other celestials that we have that they like to do their weird stuff? What do we got? Eclipses, all that. That's just who they are. That's what they were taught. And they, like I said, they don't know how to create anything new. That is, they can't. They're stuck. Um, but
It's
okay, so back to telepathy. So back on telepathy. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to go on a tangent on something different. But um, the only thing that limits us, you guys, is the idea that we are limited.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's deep, Claudine.
Hmm. So the only thing that limits us is the idea that we are limited. And
Yes.
those are our thoughts. That's where thoughts come back in again. And with telepathy, it's everything. We use it every single day, you guys. It's there and we pull from it all the time.
Hmm.
We grow attached to our concepts, our ideas about reality and ourselves.
Hmm.
So,
True. We're taught to limit ourselves through our
mhm,
beliefs throughout
mhm.
our entire life.
We're taught
Even
that we're not
spirit.
worthy and we're not worthy. We're not worthy. Okay. Um, Sorry about that. That's just kind of funny. Um, uh-oh.
I was just waiting for it. See, I was telepathic.
Oh, you guys, I'm just gonna have to let it ring. I'm closed. It's gonna have to go to voicemail. Hold on a minute, you guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We can keep talking. I knew something more was coming. It's like, that's not it. But it's true. We've been taught to limit ourselves.
Hmm.
100%. Even like with spirituality, we have been taught to limit ourselves. You know,
Hmm.
fear it. It's crazy. It's don't go down that path. Stay on God. You know, psychics are demonic. This is demonic.
Uh-huh.
Everything is demonic
Everything
according.
is demonic.
Everything is
Cannabis is demonic. Plant medicine is demonic.
everything is demonic.
Demonic. Yeah.
Anytime you're gonna open your mind, that's demonic. If
Uh-huh.
you were to read religion in the Bible. So
Or be a free thinker. Or be a free
even
thinker. Big time.
even
Yeah.
the whole demon concept and everything, even that itself is limiting. When you fear, demons only become as bad as you make them. They like a lot of it is in your mind. Like a demon can't actually physically come here and kill you. You know, they can do things to like, in your space and haunt you and knock things over. But it can act. A human is more dangerous than a demon. But the demon, the way it takes over is your mind. So, by telling you that everything is demonic is going to make the demon a lot worse to an average human. Like it's actually pretty easy to scare a human. You just have to, oh, I can see a shadow behind you, and they'll
Keep
freak out.
talking.
But
I gotta turn the fan on.
de-
It got real hot in here all of a sudden.
okay, demons, demons are real, but demons become much bigger when we limit ourselves into giving them that and we give them that power. We
Hmm.
can diminish them a lot easier. But yeah, everything has been limited in our for us, and we limit ourselves all the time. Telepathy is way more achievable than we realize.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
we use it all the time. We really do.
yeah,
When we let go of our mental attachments, our mind expands.
yeah,
And so does our consciousness and our awareness.
yeah, for
When we
sure.
let go, when we let go of all of these mental attachments that we have.
Hmm.
And it's just part of being human. It's just the way that we've been brainwashed
Hmm. Hmm.
by our controllers and by religion and
Hmm.
by education. And all thoughts come from the spirit world. And then the brain puts them out there into the material world, is what I think.
Hmm.
All of our thoughts, all of our ideas come from the spirit world or from your spirit, and
Hmm.
then it goes to the brain, and then we put it into the material world. For example, gosh, I'm not sure if it was the Wright brothers, the ones who invented the airplane,
Yeah, I
but
think so.
they weren't the first ones. There was another set of guys who invented the airplane first, and this has happened a lot with all kinds of inventions, with electricity, because it's out there in the field. So
Hmm.
these
Yeah.
ideas were out there and they were able to pick up and pull on them. So at the same time, the same different groups of people were creating and inventing the airplane or electricity or whatever it is. And this is kind of known facts, I believe, that
Mhm.
have been
Yep.
told in our, yeah, in our history and stuff.
Did you
So,
know? Did you know that Tesla and Edison were both around the same time? And Edison, they both the whole energy and electricity. Edison found a way to connect with electricity, but his had to use things from Mother Earth, like it was
mhm,
money, whereas Tesla was connecting with energy and creating electricity that didn't need money. It was based off of an energy thing, and they arrested him, and they took all of his findings and everything that he was, and they put him in jail, and they took all his stuff, and he became nothing. And Edison went on and gave us electricity,
became
but
very
it
famous,
was
and we pay a lot of
yeah,
money for electricity.
but it was money.
And yep,
They
that's real. Yep, that's exactly what happened.
yeah.
And this is how inventions happen,
Hmm.
when the same ideas are fed to the field.
Hmm.
And we've seen it with Edison and with Tesla, and then again, I believe with the Wrights brothers, and then another
Cars,
group of
yeah.
guys. Yeah, same with
They
cars.
always take the one that is of monetary value. That's where
Exactly.
that gets put
Mhm.
into our matrix.
And that's because of our controllers, the lords of this planet. If it, because we are ran by numbers and money. Money controls us.
Mhm.
When Lucifer came up with the money program and invented that, he brilliant, brilliant idea, because it sure does work. Because to this day, money drives everybody and everything, and
Mhm.
it's quite disgusting. I'm over it. Every time I wake up, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go clock in. I gotta go make that money because I gotta. It really does make everybody happy. It makes when I pay my bills at the end of the month, you should just see the smile on everyone's face.
Uh, money is something else. Money is its own crazy energy, and then it can like the actual energy is its own, but it can like break off, and it can become all these other different energies, and it can become really bad energy, or you can use it for a more better thing. And money is just something else that
I
like
know,
the way it was
I know.
created, the way it makes the world go round, the way you can't live without it.
You can't.
Ah,
You can't.
yeah.
It's so stressful. It is so stressful. I see why we have so many drug addicts and homeless people. It's hard. It's really hard,
Mhm.
and I think if you're a new soul on this planet, especially in these times, like I get it. I get why they run to the drugs and they just want to be homeless. They're just like, I give up. I'm done.
Yeah.
I get it. It's tough.
It's
Um,
yeah, it's
mhm.
a lot, isn't it? Making it, using it, budgeting it, for sure. Like, yeah, money's a big one. It's like when you have kids and then they grow up, and then when they get to that stage where they gotta go out into the world and like use it, and you watch them and how they're starting to use money on real time, and like it's no longer mom's money or dad's money, like, and you watch it and it's like, wow, this is really a really full on energy and entity that
Full
watch
on.
people
Look
use
at
it for the first time.
mhm.
And
People in America. All live off of, not all of them, but a big majority of people in America live off of credit.
yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
same here. It's uh, it's um it's a pretty big thing. Like, um, buying houses off of credit, buying cars off of credit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I think the Western world, and especially America and Australia, have really lived off of this credit system. Like, it's part of that matrix that they created for nowadays. The money system is like,
Hmm.
but you know that bubble is going to pop at some point. Like, we will have to go back down to the basics when it comes to the money system. Like, all that big bubble they created with all this fake money, like, it's going to pop. I'll be I've I'm interested to see how we reset with all that kind of stuff. You can tell the reset's coming, because you can tell that's why they want this whole like AI system and everyone on the same system, and you know everyone's
But they
grasping.
can't create a system that's going to hold us all in an AI system because we tap too much. Too much tapping goes on in America. There is no they can't even get a system that can run electricity fully all the time. They can't create anything. I'm telling you, they can't. All they can do is destroy. They don't know how to make anything efficient. They can't even send people to the moon. I have no faith in them. I really don't. I have no faith. I've never seen them be able to accomplish anything, much of anything.
No.
And if they did, it's a lie. That's just, my been on this planet for quite some time, and I really haven't seen them been able to do anything right. So, anyways, with that being said, okay, back to telepathy. Okay, each soul vibrates at a specific range, okay, of frequencies and are regulated by their ideas and their thoughts. They are having much to process, when they're doing this. So yeah, um, we all vibrate at different frequencies due to the type of ideas and thoughts that we have, which produces our emotions and our feelings. You agree with that?
Yes, 100%.
That's what
I
I wrote.
absolutely
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
that.
That's what I wrote down here. I was just like, that's a
That's
pretty good one. Yeah.
that's
Um,
why I'm so conscious of my energy field, of the thoughts that are in my head, of how I wake up every morning and how I start my vibration, what I put into my body, how it affects my vibration, how my interactions with people, the friends that I have, how that affects my um, vibration. So
it's
all
very
they
important to have
matter
good thoughts.
so
Yeah.
much.
It's very
Yeah.
important to have good thoughts and to
Yes.
do good
All of
things.
yeah.
Um,
The
and
more authentic goodness that you're putting out there on every level, on your thoughts, your your food, your all of that is going to affect your field, your energy field around you, which is a real thing. Like I walk into some people's energy and it's like, I'm not going to be in this energy. I'm going to go away because I can feel straight away. It's like, oh, I just don't like that person's energy field. If I interact with them, I'm going to come away from it. I'm just going to feel like this, and so, and that's their energy field, and their energy field is full of like what they're thinking and what they're going through and what they've put into their body and what thoughts they've got going on, and that's creating their energy field. So, yeah, all of it affects your energy field.
yeah, and I noticed that we tend to have attachments to our ideas and our truths. We have strong attachments to them. And when we're stubborn like that, and we have stubbornness, and you don't want to let go of them, you know, like just imagine if I would not have let go of my ideas and my truths from 3 years ago. And I'd be, what if I am not the same person I was 3 years ago, Anne. You know that. My beliefs have completely changed because I've been shown do new things. You know what I mean? And if I allow myself to be stubborn and just say, nope, I'm sticking to my truth, you know, nope,
You block yourself when you do that.
you know,
If
you hinder your spiritual growth. You
Yeah,
hinder in such a way that is just not, it's,
you block yourself.
yeah, you
You
block
you
yourself and
do.
there's no growth. There's
No.
no growth. And, and I'm going to be the first person to say it. I mean, you guys can go back to my videos. I've been making videos for quite some time. And you can go to me to Anne, and my first video from a couple years ago. And we are, the things we talked about then was our truth then, but it was completely different than what it is today.
You should
It
always be
was,
growing, and you should always have. I think for an individual, it you should know who you are. You should know what you believe. You should have your personal truths that you stand by. But I don't think you should ever like limit yourself with anything. Like say like the Bible. to limit yourself to believing just what comes out of that book, you're limiting yourself. Like to believe
Hmm.
that Adam and Eve and it happened exactly what that book is telling you. It's like, no, no,
Hmm.
no. That book was written by a magic man who wrote Demonology too, and where he it's a spell book, and he wrote that book and he wrote the Bible. So you're basing your whole belief system on what someone like what this person wrote and the way he put scripture and everything together. Like, you know, it's a limiting thing to do, because like there's so many older writings and stuff that will go more into like creation and where we came from, that that you can go and access. But if you limit yourself to just that book, that's your limitation, and that's going to limit your
There's no
growth.
growth. Yeah, yeah. There's no growth in your spiritual growth, in your awareness. And I just want to go back a little bit. When she's talking about King James, you guys. King James is the guy who wrote the Holy Bible or rewrote it or whatever. And he also wrote a book about demonology, and it's real. These are facts. So, for anyone out there, we are not trying to offend any of you religious people, but we just talk about things that we've researched.
Yeah,
I was a diehard Christian. I was baptized in a very Baptist church, and Southern Baptist, in fact. Um, and I'm not ashamed of it. It was my journey. It was for something for me to do. But because of my Bible studies, I started to question things. And the more I questioned things, the more I got casted out. So that right there, that
that's just
that woke
silly.
me up. It was silly. It was silly. When I walked away from my religion, I've had family members that have not talked to me since. So
Hmm,
it's just the way it goes.
that's sad.
Um,
I grew up very Christian too, so yeah, I'm
mhm.
not against Christianity. I'm not trying to be blasphemous, but I get that. I get when I when I come across Christians, and like, and they get to know me and stuff, and oh, I get treated very arm's length. I can tell that they believe things that I say and they're listening, but they still take me as what the Bible tells them to take me as, and that is they speak to demons. So there's that
Yeah,
limitation that they get from me, like, toward me. So, but
yeah.
that's okay.
I had a real fun Saturday session here. This past Saturday, I had a Catholic sitting in front of me, and I had a Christian on the right side of me. Here, right here, where I'm sitting. And we had the best time. So the Catholic lady is asking me all these questions, and she's was eradicated. So she's like, F Catholics. She got divorced when she was 21, and the her not her pastor, what do you call them? Her priest told her she was eradicated and she'll always be married to that man. And it was a big thing. And now
Yeah.
she's like 80, she's like 85 years old now. And she's like, yeah, no. And she's really against her religion now because they did that to her. Um, but the
Terrible.
lady, the Christian next to me, she and they're good friends of mine. They're very good friends of mine. They are the women who helped get cannabis legalized and our grow rights here in Arizona. They're part of that club with me. So we've been friends for a very long time. But the lady sitting on the right of me, she's a Christian, and she was just like grabbing her heart when I was talking about who King James was. I was saying that he's a magic man,
Mm.
and he wrote a book. I mean, there's
It's
not just the King James. You know what? And then you know what I did? I gave her a microdose.
how'd that go?
We were laughing. She was laughing. We were all laughing, and she really, really enjoyed my perspective. In fact, she called me today to thank me for opening her eyes to a
Oh,
new
that's awesome.
perspective. I know, it was so cool. Yeah, no, I love having. It wasn't even a debate. Well, it kind of got to a debate to the point she's like, "Why are you always having to put religion in there?" She yelled at me, and I'm like, "Because it's part of the control mechanism." And she's
Mm.
also a Trumpster too. So it was a really good day. It was a great day. But So yeah, I was able to reach two women, and that's always a good thing to give them, something else to think about. And because I asked her, I go, do you really believe that Jesus is going to come out of the skies and save this planet? Do you really think that's going to happen?
Did
You
she?
know, before or after the mushroom?
No, before. Did she think that was going to happen before?
Yeah, to a certain
Or
extent.
did
I
she?
was like, and I told her, I go, explain this to me. How's this going to happen? And then and she just finally was just like, yeah, you have a point. You're right. Yeah, no one's
Well,
gonna.
if she does, then that's great. Like, it's awesome. But to live our life with that belief system, like, that's just, to me, that's really limiting yourself. And
It's
also,
really limited. Yeah, it is limiting yourself, and
also, also, but also, I think there's a little bit of like, this attitude of like, oh, we can just be however we want because we're going to be saved if we believe in Jesus. I don't like that. I really don't like that whole part of Christianity. It really puts me off to Christian. That's what put me off to churches, Christianity, God, all that kind of stuff. Once I left, is was just seeing like the basic Christian, and people go to church and just that whole attitude of like, or I would see them, they were just not very nice people, and they would do shit things, but then they'd all go to church and speak about Jesus and Jesus forgave me, and then think that they're good people and have that look down attitude on others because, oh, you don't go to church or you don't tithe. And it's like, well, you're not a very nice person. So yeah, I don't like that attitude. And this whole like Jesus is going to come back and save us all if we believe in him. It's like, but then they just walk around being shit people. It's like that's not how we're there's no easy way out.
and they're
Like,
like, yeah, they're like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry,
yeah, yeah,
like my bad. And then I remember I wrote you that, and I said, and then they're back on the forgiveness and forsaken roller coaster again.
yeah. It's bull. I don't like it. I don't like
I don't
that's
like it either.
no. And if you have noticed, that is the religion that they've really pushed into these white countries, like these Western America, Australia, is this, but there's like no culture to it because it's this whole idea of like, but Jesus, if as long as you believe in Jesus and you say you believe in him, you're saved. And
No
it's,
matter what you do,
I
no,
don't,
and then they get back on that road. You know what I mean? And they
yeah,
sin, 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 sin.
at least with Buddhist religion that we have in Asia, it's a religion that tells you karma. If you do this and you are a bad person, this will happen, and everything you do is karmic and karmic. And so you live your life in this state of karmic, like, oh, I got to be a good person. But it's not just in front of people; it's also like internally, because Buddha teaches you to like internally look at yourself and is your happiness and who are you being and is your karma correct, and you have to be kind of your own judge of your karma, of what's coming back at you, and decide, is this a karmic thing? So it kind of like, at least it keeps you on that path of like trying to be a good person throughout your life. But this whole other Christianity religion and the way it's been sold to the general public in these white countries, it's like, you go do this, but if you believe in Jesus, Jesus will forgive you and you will go to heaven. And to me, it's like, no. Like, I don't agree with that whole ideology and system that is set up for. And then look at these
No.
white countries, there's no culture, there's no respect, there's no anything. Like, no one listens, no one follow, because if it's all absolved if you believe in Jesus. Like, whether that's the reason that we have these issues, or is that part of the agenda that was created. But yeah, like, look at the Bible, that it was pushed in these more, these types of modern countries that we have, America, Australia, newer cultured countries. Yeah, I've never really agreed with that whole Christianity part of us. If you believe in Jesus, Jesus is going to come and save us. We can mess up this planet, but at some point he's going to come out of the sky and he's going to clean it all up and save us. So it's all going to be okay.
It's a buy-in. It's just something that the controllers do. They're in religion. They give us a buy-in all the time, and we buy into it. You know, we've had more than just Jesus as a savior. We've got all kinds of saviors that we've had out there, and they continue to create new saviors. I mean, right now we've got Trump and Elon Musk. So, Cheeto Jesus.
Didn't is Elon Musk still like part of all of it, or I thought he left. Someone said he
You know
left.
what? I'm not too sure.
Someone said
Yeah,
he,
I heard that he was resigning in May. He's done his work. He saved us trillions of dollars, and I don't know. I haven't really been on the political
yeah,
uh
I figured all that stuff
spectrum
out.
of things right now. Yeah, except for this morning, I saw that he was having a party with the Super Bowl winners. So I don't know, Anne. You know, this is just stuff that comes across my feed that you just can't get away from it. You know, as soon as you turn on YouTube, you know, all that stuff is there. But let's
Mhm.
get back to what we were talking about. Our show, we've only got about a half an hour left. And we still got
Mhm.
a couple of things that I want to go over. But all thoughts are frequencies that are unique to each one of us. Two different people thinking about the same thing will generate the same frequency.
Mhm.
And this is where I love this part right here because I believe that, okay, I don't believe in guided meditation. You know how I feel about that. No, 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 no. You do not give up your power. You do not let anyone guide you. But when you get when you get, like you and I, yesterday, we were talking about manifesting more money. When you get two people focusing on the same frequency, focusing on the same thoughts and the same frequency, it's bigger. The
Mhm.
more that you have thinking about that idea, the bigger it
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
Yep.
out in the field, it gets bigger in the field. So
Mhm.
the
That's
more
how
the
they
merrier.
create the name.
Better. Yeah, yeah. If we can get, like, if we, like, you know how when they have those peace demonstrations and people get together and they meditate just on peace,
Yep.
you that I like. I love that when they're all meditating on the same subject. Okay,
Mhm.
that is beautiful.
Mhm.
That is amazing. And that does a lot. That really rises in vibration and it really goes out in the field. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
But that's how this whole matrix works, is because they source our energy.
yep,
Like,
that's another thing
because
too. I'm going
we're
to get to that
all
too. Yep. I
doing
wrote a piece on that. Yep, I wrote a piece regarding how they harnessed our energy from that too.
Mhm.
Because thoughts, they radiate or transmit into the etheric field. And when we're talking about the field, I am talking about the etheric field. I should have probably said that earlier. Where they mingle and they mix with what other people are thinking. We're like radio transmitters into the field. When we have the same thoughts or ideas, it will gain strength in the etheric field.
Mhm.
And it's true. These are facts. I have seen this over and over and over. And I have to say, Yogi Josh, he's an example of it when he goes with all his yogis and they go and they meditate on the same subject. And I don't even think he calls it meditation, he calls it something else. But the stories that he has are just amazing. So I just think it's so cool. But yeah, the more that we all think together about the same thing, the stronger it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
We
how
need
that's
to.
how we well, that's how we run. That's how the
Hmm.
matrix runs, because they're all
Yeah,
getting us to like do the same thing and think the same thing. And even like we were just talking about religion, that's if everyone's got this book and is believing these things, that's a whole bunch of people putting energy toward, that religion, and that the way it works and the energy it's creating around it. And so, yeah,
yeah.
that's how they source us, isn't it? Through our thoughts and
Energy is everything. This, and and this is what telepathy is. It's energy that is out in the etheric field,
Mhm.
and we're not separate from it. We are not separate from it.
Yeah.
No, we're not. Just like we're not separate from source or from Mother Gaia. We're in it
We-
to win it.
Mhm. It's our energy field, bud. It's a real
It is.
thing. And
It
it's
is real.
comprised of all those types of things: our thoughts, our intentions, our words, our actions, all of it. I call it a hologram. Everyone has their own little hologram that sits around them. And it's like this little bubble. And we walk around with our hologram. And inside that hologram, it contains our spiritual, like when we have spiritual awakenings, everyone has different spiritual awakenings. Like no no two people are going to have identical spiritual awakenings, because each person has their own hologram, and when that hologram opens up with all the little things and magic things inside and their spiritual awakening, it's going to be tailored to their hologram, which will consist of their traumas, their family, their everything, their interactions, like all, and it just sits around each and every person, their hologram.
I
That's why,
like
like,
that. I
yeah,
like that.
that's why, like, when people say, "Oh, you're crazy," "Oh, it's like, wait a second, who is crazy? Because your reality is not the same to that other person's. We all have very different realities because we're all doing different things all the time. That's tailored to you and your hologram. So what works for one person and what they might experience in their hologram is going to be very different from this person. So, to sit there and say you're crazy or you're crazy, it's like, hey, wait a second, just worry about your own self, because
Hmm.
what you deem as not crazy could seem completely insane to that person. So, you know, sometimes keep those opinions to yourself, because what you experience could seem very crazy to another person, and what that person's experiencing is super crazy, but it's their reality, it's what they go through. And you have your physical and you have your spiritual, like, and that's all in that hologram. And the way we see it and interpret it and experience our hologram is up to each individual.
Yeah, we're unique to ourselves.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
And that's your energy field, that's your auric field. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
That
like my awakening was like mine mostly had to do with fairy tales. That's exactly, the way I know how to. No, for real. It was all.
Like,
It was.
fairy
Yeah, it
tales.
had to do with learning about what fairy tales are, and um, that was just such a strong word that I heard from my angels. Claudine, it's a fairy tale, but no, it's not.
Most things are fairy tales.
Yes, they
A
are.
lot of
They
it.
are. Yes, I was wrapped up in quite a few fairy tales. But hey, I woke up and I realized that was a
But
fairy
see
tale.
what I mean? When you call someone else crazy because what you think isn't crazy, and theirs is but it's like it's all fairy tales. Like your fairy tale is just as crazy, and your fairy
The
tale is
only ones I call crazy are the freaking deep state. Okay, they're crazy.
they are. They're complete lunatics. We have madmen running our country.
Oh, those are the only ones I call crazy. They are.
They are. They're absolutely crazy. They're crazy on power. They're crazy on money. They're completely out of touch with
Totally,
like reality. Like they live
totally.
on a different dimension than
Yeah.
people.
Oh, they're in a whole different dimension than us.
Completely.
It's
They,
like it's like water and land, totally two
yeah,
different,
yeah,
they're different. Um,
yeah.
Now this is a good one. You're gonna like this one because this one's a really good one. Because this one is so true, and I know so many people out there can relate to this one. We are affected by what other people are thinking and what we perceive to be the vibe of a person or a place. We get affected when you walk into a room,
Yep.
and you go into a room, you instantly, or a crowd, let's do a crowd.
Absolutely.
How about when we're out, what's a good crowded place that everyone goes to? How about the DMV? When you go to the DMV and you go in there and it's crowded, you pick up
Feel it.
all of what
I know.
everybody is thinking. You know that
Yeah.
that is a time when we must protect our energy. That
Yeah.
is a time, especially when it's a negative, hostile environment. And high spiritual people, Spiritual people who know energy know exactly how to protect their energy from these types of people. And when you're also a high vibrating when you're a high vibrating human with high frequencies, you know when you're in a bad place with
Mhm.
bad vibes. You can
Me
feel
too.
it instantly the minute you walk in there.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Your chakras, once your chakras are like active and they're working, and as a true, if you're truly like into your spiritual stuff, you get in touch, your chakras just work. Like my chakras are very, very strong chakras. My heart chakra, my I didn't always understand it, but now I'm starting to like, okay, I understand now how that chakra works and what works for it, how it opens my sacral chakra and my, what's the one, the solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, they have always worked in my life, but I didn't understand them, whereas now I understand them. And when you have those energies, like, you feel when they hit your sacral chakra and your solar plexus, you know that it's like, ugh, that's kind of the lower vibrational things, because
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to, your chakras are going, hey, I don't like this energy. And you start feeling that pit in your gut and stuff, like, that's just, yeah, that's taking the all those lower vibrational energies and feeling them. So yeah, your chakras should alert your body and your mind to, hey, this isn't a good place. And we feel it. We sure, the problem with humans is we don't listen and we don't take notice most of the time. When we're feeling, we'll say, oh, we don't feel very good, and oh, when we go into this situation, I just don't feel too good. It's like, yeah, that's your body, that's your spirit telling you that's not a good situation for you.
No,
But
it's a
our
hostile environment. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but our brain is like, us humans, we always go by our thought. We tend to always go by what our brain is telling us, and that's more ego. That's for most of us, like, that's feeding your thought process and stuff. And you really should be feeling in here, not always going from up here. Going up from up here can, like, a lot of times get you into not good situations. You should
Mm-hmm.
really listen to how you're feeling. And I don't know how many people I've come across that tell me different stories, and, oh, like, I started feeling it in my stomach, and then this happened. It's like, why didn't you listen to what your tummy was telling you? Like, that's your spirit is picking up and knowing that these things aren't good. So
But we get affected by them.
mm,
Instantly, when you walk into a room or you meet someone new, you get affected by the vibes. I mean, and that is just because we're all frequencies. You know what I mean?
mm,
And it's all telepathy. It's all in the etheric field. Um, we've got to watch what thoughts we are having and when and where we are having them.
mm,
It's very important to have control of your thoughts. Um, I like to observe mine because I know they're not all mine. They come from the etheric field, especially when you go into a negative, hostile environment. All of a sudden, you'll start having all these things. Like, I do, like, that's not mine. That's not mine. That's, and I'll sit back and I'll observe them. And I'll be like,
mm,
that didn't come from me. I would never think something like that.
mm.
This happens quite often with me. So especially when I'm counseling people, I just
You
can
can
pick
pick
up
up.
on, well, what they're thinking, what they're saying, and I'm like that. I'm not thinking that. Um, and we should always watch out how people and places make us feel.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that our feelings and our emotions are caused by our thoughts. I said that earlier, but again, I just wanted to like emphasize on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions are not necessarily associated with our truth. wait, I'm sorry, what did I say? Emotions are not
Emotions.
necessarily associated with our truths about someone or someplace.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Emotions are not
Our
always.
emotions are indicators, but it is not necessarily our truth.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions are a tricky one.
Mm-hmm. They
Mm-hmm.
are.
They are, because we feel them so deeply,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are ruled by their emotions.
Yes.
I see that a lot.
Yeah.
They don't know
I
how to just process their emotions and release them. It's an energy, they allow the energy to get stuck.
yeah.
It's where anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
that's where that all comes from, I believe.
I used to always work off of emotion, and then I saw this thing, and it said, "Never work off of a high. Never do anything on a when you're on a high emotional state. Like always come down from that emotional state and then make a decision, but never make a decision when you're highly emotional." And once I understood that, it's like, oh, because I would always make so many like rash decisions because I was upset, and I would make it, and then what that transpired into and what that created from that decision, like, and they were never good decisions. It was just one bad thing to another. So, yeah, I reckon it's worked wonders in my life with not working off of emotion. So anytime I feel that real high emotion, I always will catch myself, and if like anyone is like in that and they're trying to get some kind of decision off me and I'm highly emotional, I will just shut everything down
Yeah, you just
and just
shut it
like,
down. Yep, yep,
yeah.
yep. I get like
Well,
that, especially when I'm around negative people.
mhm,
Um, emotions, you can pick up other people's emotions. You
mhm,
can feel the people's emotions, and they're not necessarily your emotions to process. And
no.
this is real. And this is one thing that I like to say this, and I know if any of my clients are listening to this, they hear me say this quite often. We must learn to observe our thoughts. We must analyze them, treat them with caution. We are not our thoughts. They come from the etheric field, okay?
Interesting.
Again, yes. We must observe your thoughts when thoughts come in, you guys, okay? When you and I've been doing this for a long, long time. At least 4 years I've been observing my thoughts. Where are they coming from?
Mhm,
Watch them float by
mhm.
and just let
Interesting.
them go and
Yeah.
just let them go.
Because even if you
Because
think about it, like you're if you're like on social media and things are telling you things, they're going to be planting thoughts in your mind. So
hmm
yeah,
hmm
that's absolutely correct.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I say that so much, Anne. I'm always telling my clients that all the time. Observe those thoughts. Where are they coming from? Are they even yours?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
we are who we hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
We are who we give our time to, our energy to,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
what we consume.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you reading?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are. I always say that I love saying this has been my saying for a long time. Birds of a feather flock together.
It's very true.
You will attract what you are
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
for sure. Look, I attracted Anne.
Oh, so
Um,
true.
and trust me, Anne and I are right there together. Yeah, we have a lot
We just
of this.
understand our conversations. There's
Our
not a lot of people
conversations
that
get
understand
wild.
that understand the things that I say.
We had the craziest conversation last night, but it was fun. I thought I was laughing when I went to bed. I'm like, oh my gosh, only with Anne can I do this kind of stuff with. I can't do this with anybody else.
I don't limit myself. I like
Yeah,
to keep everything a possibility. Like
yeah.
what could, anything that doesn't, that is not set in stone and is like, it could be this, it could be that. I just like to throw it out there. It could be, until we know else, you know, this is what it
Yeah.
looks like. But
Yeah, it's fun. We do, and again, you guys, when you're controlling, when you're observing the thoughts, you're looking at the thoughts, it will give you what I call mental discipline.
mm, if you look at your own thoughts.
You want that racing mind to go away, that mind, that racing, I call the default mechanism part of your brain that just goes da, 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 where self is created. You
Yeah.
want that to go away.
Hmm.
Practice mental discipline.
Hmm.
Practice where these thoughts are coming from. Who are they for? And which one should you react on and which one shouldn't you react on? Let them just swim on by.
Hmm.
And some of these thoughts and ideas will be for you. And you'll be like, oh, okay, I like that idea. I'm going to go do that. Am I right, Anne? I mean, I know
Oh,
you practice no mind. Well, that's what I like to call it, is no mind. I know you're the
yeah.
same as me. You don't have any thoughts.
No, I've kind of, I remember what that noisy mind was like. I kind of remember, but I kind of forgot it too. Like I don't have those, nor I don't remember how to have those human, like that chatter in my head. My head's pretty like empty for the most part. I gotta remember
Yeah,
things and write them down. I have a lot of stuff that comes into my head, but mine always seems to be like, I don't know. Like I'm always thinking about like crazy stuff, like not human, like my problems. But I don't really think about my problems unless it's like I need to do something about it. But I don't have that like chitter chatter. But I think about like governments and popes and like all this Bible stuff and who King James is. Like that's the stuff that goes on in my mind. Who Adam and Eve and trying to sort out where how creation happened and the
okay, so
fun
I
stuff.
have I have a really good concept here for you guys I wanted to put in there too, and I didn't write any of this down, is that even though you have a wall, like there's a wall between me and the storefront that's next door to me, okay? And then I have a wall, okay, right here on this side. And over to this wall is a bar, okay? A very low vibrating bar where people get drunk, drugs are exchanged, sex is happening all over the place because I see it, and there's a parking lot right here, okay? This wall does not protect me, you guys.
No.
Don't think that I don't know that those thoughts and those actions do not carry over to my facility. I get that
Mhm,
on a
mhm.
whole level that is different than it ever has been for me. And I know Anne has heard me gripe about this bar and the vibes that I get from there. And I'm like, this wall just, and this is the same thing when you're at your home and when you're somewhere.
Mhm,
You're still getting these people's thoughts, you guys.
mhm.
A wall's not going to protect you. It
No,
doesn't.
it's not going to protect you from the energies and entities
It
that
is
are
not. It does
on
not
top.
protect you, and you do pick up those vibes and those frequencies and those thoughts. Um, Sometimes we pick up other thoughts um from the field that are bad and good.
Mhm. Well,
Um,
like I said, if you're looking at social media and you're on your phone and things are telling you stuff, that's more thoughts being put into your mind, that even are like being put into your mind and stored away for a later date when something comes up and it's like, oh, but remember that, and that thought will come back into you. And it's like, like even advertisement, that's, a great, that those are thoughts being put into your head, and then you see that thing, oh, that looks good, and it's stored away, and then the next time, oh, what shampoo should I, oh, remember that shampoo that you saw, and there's a thought, and that's subliminal stuff that they do, and oh, I remember that shampoo, and that little thought that was jotted away in your memory. So thoughts are coming from everywhere. I kind of just realized that when you were talking about it, Like we're
Mhm.
just getting thoughts from everywhere. They're
From
not,
everywhere,
you
from
know,
the field, they are everywhere. You,
hearing two people speak and you're over here and then they say something and there's another thought, or you
hmm
know, thoughts, yeah,
hmm
they really are. They're coming from everywhere. I'm
yeah,
always like kind of I listen to a lot of music, so I'm kind of always in this music headspace. And I find with music, I kind of have no, my thought process kind of just goes boop and gets drowned out by the music. But yeah, like,
yeah. You start singing the song, and so if you start getting into the song, yeah, I do the same thing. I love to dance, so, but
uh,
it's your thoughts are very powerful, people,
hmm,
and you're responsible for them.
hmm,
You affect the etheric field in a positive or a negative way. Those are your choices, and that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other and to have the more that we put good in that field, in the etheric field, the better off we all are going to be. So, I don't want to be like this spiritual person who's saying, "Oh, it's all rainbows and unicorns and, and puff cloud and puff bombs and all this stuff." But this is real stuff right here. It really is. And it's stuff that's just, I don't think is discussed enough. I really don't. That's why I really thought it was a good, topic to talk about.
hmm,
Um, take the ones that you like and that serve you and let the rest pass without judgment. Don't give them extra weight or meaning. Telepathy is very real and it affects us all the time.
absolutely.
It's important to just exist and feed the field high vibes. It's just living, you guys. It's part of living. So you're going to pick up all different types of ideas and thoughts from the etheric field all the time because as long as you're living, it's just the way it's going to be.
Hmm,
And protect yourself. Protect yourself when you're going into especially a hostile environment.
hmm.
And I saw a lot of that happen over Easter. Families.
Families.
And those are reports, not my family. I had one of the best Easters, so with my family, but I had a lot of clients come in last week and they were just very, very upset because of uh, their Easter family party, because it was very negative.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
No. I always say to you, the devil always finds a way in. And a lot of the times he finds the way in through your family members. So
oh,
be careful. He always finds
I've
a
got a
way in.
few of them. Trust me, I've got a
Yeah.
few of them. Totally, but we were just talking about it before we went live with my family members and their
Yep.
demons. And they're
Yep.
front and center right now. I don't know how everyone else is seeing. I'm seeing mine with and some friends, close long time friends. I'm just the demons are just front and center. The parasites are
Uh,
right there.
they're,
They've completely
they're
taken over the body. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just all being surfaced. Like look at Nova's dream. Like things are just surfacing. The veil has become very thin.
Very thin for some people. Yeah.
Much, oh very, and it's much harder to hide a lot of these like lower vibrating energies that we for pre 2020 we seem to be able to just keep doing the same thing and people would just accept that, oh, that's just them. Whereas now we're kind of seeing like the veil is very thin. We're starting to see like what's the human and what's the energies and entities that are working through the human. And you're starting to be able to like see these energies and entities are like they're surfacing and they're becoming like desperate. So they're like they're taking over the human and they're just wreaking havoc in their lives. And you can see the energy for what it is. And you go, okay, that's your demon that you're working with and I'm just going to be over here until you figure out how to deal with that demon. But yeah, I just find the veil is very, very thin, and people's demons and stuff that sit deep, that have sat inside them, are all just surfacing, and they're going nuts. Like, it's not a pretty sight out there sometimes. What we're seeing come out of people, and especially people who are like, drugs and alcohol and all those heavier spirits that are like very, very. I see a lot of people are starting to talk about alcohol and how it's spirits, and that's why it's called spirits, and without, and that when you drink, and how it's spirits take over the body. I see a lot of people are talking about that these
Like what
days.
I've been saying for the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. And now everyone, all the spiritual people, oh, it's spirits. It is. You, the human is no longer in control, and the spirit has taken over because they are, you know, drunk, on drugs. Anyone who has these substances in their body, they have energies working through them through these substances. So,
Oh, and you can see them clear as day. I
uh,
mean, I see it day in and day out, you know,
yeah.
and mind you
I
guys, for some people who don't know this, but I was a bartender for 29 years, 14 years sober, 15 years drunk of it. And then I'm next to a bar and I see the spirits as they all the
Yeah,
time.
it's very obvious. I don't take
Mm,
these types of people very seriously.
mm-mm.
Like, anyone who has a substance in their body and is speaking, but they have I just go. I take them with a grain of salt, because they're speaking from a different energy, and it's not the human in
I don't
control.
even
So,
want to be around it. I don't even
yeah,
want to be around it. I don't even give it my time or day. I just, yeah, yeah. And
I
I
don't
have
go
a
to
lot of, I'm
bars.
around a lot of people who love to drink,
Yeah,
unfortunately. And I just
I,
don't give them the time of day.
yeah, you just can't take them very seriously. Like, they're
Mm-mm,
drunk,
mm-mm.
they're on, they're addicted to a substance, and it's the substance and the energy of the substance that's working through them, which
Yeah.
is, what we call demons, entities, whatever it is. But yeah, it's not the authentic human that we're dealing with. So
Mm-mm. No,
yeah.
and it's just so accepted in our culture. It's just the way it is, and it's okay. They're doing the best that they can, right?
They're
They're
trying.
doing, yeah, they're
Mhm.
trying. They're trying to do the best that they can, and it's just how it is, just love them for who they are and for
Yep.
where they're at in life. That's all we can really do.
Pray for them.
Lots
Pray,
of prayers.
what I
But
say.
what I like about Nova and what she's going through is at least she's not in denial.
Hmm.
That is the biggest thing that I notice with people who have addiction problems. Boy, are they in denial.
Hmm. Yeah.
And as
It's
long as they're in denial, there's not going to be they're not going to be able to fix themselves, you know.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
they're not happy. They're not happy with the way that there's no way that they wake up feeling magnificent. There's no
No,
way. Mm-mm,
no. You don't feel good.
mm-mm.
You don't feel good. I
No.
know. I took painkiller. For 3 solid years. I was on some strong painkillers, and you do not, that when you first wake up in the morning. Oh God, you feel so horrible. Like, you got to put the medication into you just to start your day, so you can, like, not have that hangover feeling. And oh, I hated it. I hated my life being on any kind of on medication, anything that, because the way you wake up feeling, your liver's so, like, toxic and overloaded from all the medication, and you just have that bleh feeling inside you. I hate that feeling.
I
I
know.
hate
I don't like feeling like crap, so I won't do
no,
anything that makes me feel crappy. I can't, I don't like it at
no.
all.
I won't even eat certain foods that make me feel like,
Oh no.
if I eat pork, especially the night before, I have a really bad sleep, and the next day I feel super just heavy and yucky in the guts. And the last time I ate it, I had to, like, drink stuff to flush my body out. I had to flush it out of my system because I was just agitated from pork, like from eating too much. And I was like, okay, I'm never doing that again before bedtime. Like, I've done it twice now. But yeah, even what I eat will agitate the way I feel in my body, and I just
I
don't like.
can't eat after 6 o'clock now. If I eat after 6 o'clock, I have the worst. I wake up around 1, 2 in the morning with the worst stomach ache, and sometimes I throw up.
Mhm.
So I just don't eat anymore. I've learned my lesson, and because you got that humanism in you, it's like,
Mhm.
and you're
Yeah,
with a bunch of people in the evening, and they want to go get a snack. They want to
yeah,
go get something to eat, and I'll be like, oh, I'll be fine. I can
yeah.
have a few of those blueberries, or maybe it's just some salsa and chips. I can't.
Just
No,
work.
I've learned my lesson. Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. So,
Exactly.
or I get sick, and yeah, it's just the way it is. And this is what happens when you practice true to yourself. When you're practicing being true and having a pure heart and being purified. This is
Mhm.
what happens. It happens innately, you guys.
Mhm.
And you just have to listen to that, your body, and it'll let you know what is okay and what's not okay.
Mhm.
And so anyway, so I went ahead and I put my logo and I put my QR code, you guys. That's a QR code to my website. So if anyone's interested, if you'd like to support Anne and I, we would super appreciate it. You can go to my website and you can purchase products, or you can schedule a service with Anne or I. We do have services that we provide under services on my website, and then we have products, and then I have a couple of oh no, I just have one event that I do once a month, and I do a mushroom club. If you're in the valley, you're more than welcome to come. It's all on my website under, like I said, services and events, and then my products. And then tomorrow I will be back on again, um, 8 o'clock in the morning with Julie. If you didn't hear, if you want to hear me ramble more and more, go right ahead. Check in on with me in the morning tomorrow at 8 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. And then here's Anne's Facebook page, and that QR code will take you to her Facebook, where you can do a friend request and you can go ahead and message her if you'd like. So she's always willing to help people. So I went
Mhm.
ahead and made her a QR code to her Facebook, and it's right there. So this is the end of our show. We went over a little bit. So you guys, just thank you for watching, and please share and like, and happy everything.
Bye.
Bye
See you
bye.
next week.
Yep. See you next Monday at 5:22. Bye bye.
Okay.